To others, they would have thought that my life was magically good. I had everything going for me. I was successful in college. I graduated at 20. I was successful in business. I was elected to office early. I was the youngest Speaker of the House in Michigan's history at 34 years old. Governor Romney asked me to introduce him when he announced he was running for president. But the catch is that how I was living my life from what the public saw to what was really going on in my heart and how I was living, completely different things. I, from a very young age, have been an alcoholic. 10, 11, 12 years old, very regularly. 14 was when I couldn't stop drinking on a daily basis for the first time. And I was convinced with all of my talent and ability I'd be able to figure it out someday on my own. And I would try, and I would try, and I would try 10,000 different things, and it never worked. And as the years went by, I was always successful in material things, but I couldn't fix what was hollowing me out. And that all came crashing home 29 years after I started drinking in 2010. I was arrested twice in 2010. The first time, it was in a couple hundred newspapers, and it was a drunk driving arrest. And the second time, it was in over 500 newspapers, and on 2 cable channels. There were helicopters flying over my house, and newspaper reporters and television cameras following me everywhere. I had inflicted so much pain on those that love me, my wife, my children, my family. I had destroyed everything that I had built over the previous 20 years. Everything that I thought was good was gone. My reputation, my ability to earn an income or even pay bills. Everything was gone. It was at that moment that I was broken and everything was gone. And God loved me enough to take away everything, because if I had something else, I might have still turned to it. But I surrendered, and I surrendered with everything in me, and I was ready to leave everything behind. I invited Christ into my life, and from that moment forward, supernaturally, God began doing things right within minutes to change and to bring me up. God placed on my heart when I was in Brighton Hospital, where I had surrendered to Him, and He had started bringing me along in different ways with different people, placed on my heart very strongly one day that the things in my past weren't done for my benefit, that they were maybe to be used for His plan instead of mine. And that really got me thinking. And I thought about it a lot, and I just focused very imperfectly about staying out of the way and surrendering my marriage and my business and my thoughts and my actions on a daily basis, and to try to follow God's plan. And about a year later, I was invited out of the blue to give a speech down in Washington, D.C. And that invitation and that speech, which I thought was just the excuse to go to Washington, D.C., turned into a life-changing event. On the panel with me was Pat Nolan, the president of Justice Fellowship, a part of Chuck Colson's Prison Fellowship Ministries. And when he heard my testimony, he asked me why I was not involved in helping others, and that I had a lot to give, and that God had a plan for me. And Chuck Colson, when I met him a couple of months later, said the same thing, and that it was time for me to leave behind my ambition and my designs on business and to follow God's plan. When I was broken and found the willingness to invite God in to be my solution, it fixed everything. And not only was it a better solution than alcohol ever was, my life changed beyond any measure of what I could have thought richness could have been, what love could have looked like, and what peace could feel like inside of me. That's the gift. That's the gift that God gave me by inviting Him in to be my solution.